Hey guys, I've got my Kickstarter backer code for Bloodstained. This is the Igavania game, Symphony of the Night, Castlevania director, Metroidvania. This is the E3 demo, and I just got my code not too long ago. Email it came in, looked real weird. So if you guys are other Kickstarter backers waiting on yours, it came in looking real weird and shady, but and I've been hearing that there's a lot of issues with people not getting the appropriate Steam keys or not getting the appropriate system keys actually, but I got a Steam key, plugged it in, and it worked right away. So I loaded it up. There's not really too much. Option screen just has full screen windowed and then resolution, and then you can hit play or exit the game. Hitting play takes you right here. So you kind of start off on this boat, and it is a 2D side scroller. So immediately I liked the art style. It's very colorful, it's vibrant. I'm kind of just getting the hang for the controls. I was thinking that my head was hitting the netting, but it's not. You can jump through that. But kind of the same loadout. You play as a girl in this one, health, and then your mana, which comes up a little bit later. Got those lanterns that you can bust to get coins. There's no merchant in the demo, nor does it track coins for high score purposes or anything like that. But if you saw there's an equipment menu where you can kind of change your loadout. The demo that I played, I only found the longsword and then punching legs. I'll pick those up shortly. But that's the new thing. So sometimes when you kill an enemy, you'll get a shard, and that shard you can equip to basically cast a spell. So these guys that I've killed, Sema, they give me a shard that basically spits out water. There's other enemies that have a chance to drop their soul or shard as well, and you'll get different abilities. I only found 3 in the demo, and I replayed it a couple times, but the Sema gave me theirs. That Headless Knight actually gives me a sort of chain that you can spin around that deals damage to. Also, I found out in my second playthrough that the select or back button is a map, which to be expected. It's not explicitly laid out, but to be expected, it's in there. So I'm killing a Dullahan, looting this treasure. Headband. The only thing that doesn't show up is your actual chest piece. I got some leather, which didn't show up on my character, but the headband and the scarf do show up on the actual model. So that's really cool. And here you see there's 5 different types of shards. In the demo, I only saw 3 of them total, and 2 of them were from the same class, just the Y class. Another shard that I pick up, you have to aim with the right analog stick, so they can slightly tweak what it looks like. And here I'm unequipping everything to see if my character model changes. And the scarf and the little blue thing in my hair do go away, but the tunic, of course, isn't there. So right analog stick, you spin around. You'll need that for some of the spells. But there's no description on any of the items for backstory or anything. The only thing they seemed to change was defense values, at least this early in the game. But there's no story. It doesn't really explain why you're on this ship. You just start off in that galley and then work your way up and then back down. Found out pretty early on, backdashing is still preferred method of travel. Got level ups. They don't give you full health, nor do they give you full mana, but they do change your base statistics. More chests, more potions. But the soundtrack was good. Of course, it kind of got repetitive after I put in an hour and a half. I beat it 2 or 3 times. Kind of got a little repetitive, but the movement of the character feels really good. The Shumakan is playing Dota. The movement feels really good. The animation looks really good. The monsters seem varied and unique. The environment was cool. The second time I played through it, I actually found a couple secrets. So there is still that feel there. Here I picked up another shard from another enemy, the fire cannon. This is the one that you have to aim with the right analog stick and then right trigger to shoot. But all the shoulder buttons are not used, so maybe you'll use those for different. Here I'm trying to figure out where I actually have to hit it, which in retrospect is the glowing hinder at the top. So each monster, and I'm not sure which one's in the demo, but each monster has a chance to drop their shard. I got lucky in that the SEMA dropped it relatively early, otherwise I wouldn't have been looking out for it. And in this first playthrough I didn't pay attention to it really at all. I kind of just pushed through. But each monster has a chance to drop their shard. It's not guaranteed, and each shard has its own power, mana cost, as well as a stat called quality, which is a star, which is a star based on 1 to 5. Maybe assuming how strong it is or how mana efficient it is. But I got multiple shards of the same type, and it didn't improve the quality. And I also killed multiple enemies of the type that dropped the shard, and it didn't increase the quality. And then finally I killed a bunch of enemies just with the spell, and it didn't increase the quality of it either. So I'm assuming that that's not, you can't level up your spells and have them change what they look like. At least in the demo, you weren't able to change that. And a bunch of that in the menu isn't shown up. There's no archives, there's no config, gold, playtime, kill time, all that stuff isn't on there. Apologies for the delay here. I was live streaming this, so I had to make sure things weren't crashing around me. But the galley introduces a couple new enemies. This enemy, Amy, is, as to be expected from a ghost, resistant to physical attacks, but pretty weak to the waterfall. Probably also weak to the fire. The physical attack and then the chain goes right through it. Doesn't really deal any damage. These guys all die on pretty much one hit. And then I find out later that you can slide and deal damage into them. So that's still there. Down and A slides and you'll still deal same amount of damage, that 8 damage to an enemy. It sped up my movement and travel a lot. Here we'll fight another enemy, a Buer. I never got their soul or their shard or the sort of black demon looking things, ink looking things, sorry. I never got their shard either, nor the ones from the Amy. So, and I grinded on them for quite a while. So I don't know if, but it is random. It's possible I just missed it and it's out there. I didn't really look at anything before I dived headfirst in. But I tried killing these Amy's quite a bit, and then the Buers quite a bit, and I just never got their shard to try out what their skill was. But keep wandering through here. There's no save points. There's no teleporting. The demo's very short. I beat it twice in maybe 15-20 minutes. Or sorry, I beat it in 15-20 minutes, and then I beat it twice in 45 minutes when I was reviewing everything, and that's when I found more of the secrets, and that's when I spent a bunch of time grinding on enemies. There's not really multiple paths. There was one point when the paths sort of diverged and I was happy, but it turned out to just be at the bottom of one of them. It was just a couple treasure chests. So there's none of that. There's none of that splitting off. There was no power-ups that I found to increase my character and go back to a different area. It already looked like you needed the double jump at at certain points in order to access certain hidden areas, but that wasn't a part of the demo. You just had your normal skill set. You leveled up, got a little bit stronger. You had your choice between 2 different weapons, and then those 3 shards, which I found. The boss was pretty cool. Animations on it looked very good. The soundtrack to the boss was pretty good. The attack patterns of it was cool. It had some really unique depth and mechanics where it moved the ship and sort of twisted kind of what the layout was when you're fighting it. But it was very easy. I never really had a moment where I was Kung Fu shoes, that's what it is. And the range of them, of course, is lower, but they deal more damage. Shoes made for mobility. I didn't actually notice an increase in my movement speed, nor is there a way to check. You know, there's no item descriptions like the Soul series, so I can't review it and see what's different or what changed on it. But it does have shorter range. It deals more damage. Didn't give me a double jump. It didn't increase speed of my backdashes. Here I'm going through all the different weapons, so they have quite a bit. I'm excited to dive in and try all the different move sets for the different weapons. But this was originally a very successful Kickstarter that has gone through numerous delays and upsets. In fact, I'm not even sure what's current with this game because I got tired of all the emails, so I just unsubscribed from the list. But this game has gone through quite a bit of heartache. I'm glad that it showed at E3. I'm glad that I got my demo of it and got the chance to play it, and it's gotten me more excited for this game. I'm not actually sure when it launches. I should check that and put that in the description of the video. But here you kind of cut your way through the galley. You come back up shortly up here, and then the next room. There's a preview of the boss. It's very colorful, bright. I kind of like that for this kind of game. Of course, I would prefer more gothic, dark, but the colors stand out very well, and the sort of watercolor, inky feel that everything has to it just looks real cool. The main character looks very cool. But unfortunately, I don't have any details to tell you about price or release date because I didn't do my research before I made this video. So I'll have to post all that in the description here. I'm getting ruined by this Dillahan. You can see I have to get a little bit closer. It's not significantly closer, but I gotta be a little bit closer to him. Also, here I get mixed up. This is a shortcut back to an area I've already been in before I realized I could hit select to open up the map. Another level up. But it doesn't, there's no diverging paths, and the shortcut is ultimately meaningless because there's nothing here to do. Obviously, they're gonna slightly tweak this level and probably reuse it for the main game, in which that'll be more important. A save room or something else that you'll cut back and forth in, but in the demo is really it doesn't achieve anything. You want to go back through there and then up, which I'm kind of lost here, so I'm not sure why it even opened up, which is why I'm traveling around and not sure of the direction to go in. I'm not sure why that shortcut would even be there and what's the purpose of heading back to this area. The ranges throw me off a little bit. I think on my second playthrough I actually went back to the longsword because I valued the range more than... And the number of hits was still the same. I had to hit those dudes twice, the ink dudes once, and then these big guys 3 times, so it didn't ultimately make a difference. At some point I should get his shard, either from this one or from the very last one that I kill right before the boss room. And then I've also figured out, same as in Symphony of the Night and most of these games, you can attack in the air and you can attack on the ground, and they sort of cancel the frames on attacking from the air and when you land. Meaning, if you jump up and then land, you'll hit just like that, which is what I start doing for the rest of this playthrough, basically. What you want to do is jump and then land and kick and then immediately kick again, and your DPS will increase quite a bit, so you don't have to stand there and deal as much damage as you did originally. I think it's lucky that I went back, because I think this is when I get his shard. Yep. Very lucky. And this was the most powerful shard that I found, this head flail. The most powerful one I found. Obviously, the Amy's are resistant to it, but you'll need to have the cerulean splash on those guys. But this just wrecked enemies. This just totally wrecked the boss. And there's nothing to do here. At the beginning, there's another, I'm not sure what they're called, girder, rafter, plywood. I don't know, probably not plywood on a ship, but there's really nothing to explore. But at the first part, when there's one of these beams, if you jump on it from the right side and run it to the left, you can make a leap over to above the starting area, and there's a leather vest there that you can equip, some leather armor that you can equip. Here I'm just trying to see what else is even available for me to do. What did I miss? Again, no map. I didn't figure out about the map early on. I think that you'll be able to play as multiple characters, because I remember seeing that on the Kickstarter. There's multiple characters. I don't know if there's multiple storylines, but same like most of the other Castlevanias, Metroidvanias, in which you'll beat it and then you'll unlock a new mode. I think all that's pretty much the same for this one. Once you beat the game, you'll unlock boss rush mode, some additional characters, but I'm excited for it. I enjoy these types of games. I enjoyed Symphony of the Night a lot. I actually liked Lords of Shadow series, but that was more just because everybody looked cool. But their hair looked cool, so. I think I'm making my final push back to the boss. There's really nothing left. Drop down here, get some healing stuff. Items to be expected, couple accessory slots, head, body, and then equipment slots. I couldn't double equip stuff, which seems weird because in the equipment menu it does actually show 2 slots, but boss room, doors pronounced, cool little animation jumping over it. Yeah, see the colors. The seaweed hair, mermaid, tentacle, Cthulhu lady. The colors just look real cool. There we go. That's what you want to do. Jump up, hit, hit. Boss has a couple attacks. Well, more than a couple, but a few attacks, that being one of them. Otherwise, it mostly just stands there and you just hit it. One of its sort of tentacles will sweep from the left to the right into its mouth. You can easily jump on it. And the tentacle even changes colors to sort of highlight it. This is when it pushes the boat down. But it doesn't really do anything. You can't hit its boobs. So that doesn't achieve anything. And it doesn't like sink parts of the boat. At this point, a couple of its tentacles sort of trap you in there, and then the head, which I was trying to hit, but it's in the background. The head sort of spits this laser beam out, but here I am just dumping into the tentacle. Not dealing much damage, but it's repeatedly kicking at it. Boss is relatively easy. Again, this goes back to the ease thing that I was talking about. There's really nothing hard. The only items that I've used in this one were ethers to get my mana back, just because the strength of what I was doing. There you go. Level up, boss dies. Blah. Fade to black. Thank you for playing. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that playthrough. I hope you guys check out the game, and I'll catch you in the next episode.